Hello, Flosstube friends. I hope that everybody is having a great week. Thanks for coming back with me to my Flosstube. I think this is Flosstube number 64. I think. Maybe I got it right. Fingers crossed. I'm a couple of days late. I was not feeling that great at the beginning of the first of the week, but feeling much better now. I have got a good bit of stitching done. I did do some good bit of sewing this week, so I've got that stuff to show you too. This probably is not going to be as long of a video as what it typically is, and usually when I say stuff like that, it does end up being that way. But anyway, so let's jump into it. So first thing, let me do this because I got to get it out of my way. I did get to work a couple of hours on Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. Here is where I have got. I was down in here and finishing up this shading area. I got to looking yesterday when I worked on it last, and I've got the flag down through here, and then when I get into the dress, there's a lot of really big sections of stitching. This stitching, I don't know if you can tell, there is just so much confetti. 2 or 3 stitches here, 3 or 4 stitches here, and I mean, it makes, the shading is impeccable. It is a beautiful design. It is just a lot of changing threads, a lot of work. So I thought I would show that one really quick so I can get it out of the way. Having it on that scroll bar does really help. I've got it sitting in my dining room area. It sits on a table that is, it's a small like desk study table. That is the only thing that goes on that table is that and the threads. So it stays out. I can pick it up, set a timer, work for about an hour or so, and then put it up. So I got some good progress on it. Let's pause from stitching really quick and let me show you what I had been sewing on this week. So I don't know where to start. The first thing, again, I usually post what I'm working on in the day on my Instagram account. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go over and check it out. I've got to where I have been really showing my cross stitch stuff first on my Flosstube, so that way there's new stuff for you to see on the Flosstube, and then I will show later where I am on my Instagram. But my Instagram is Sew What Stitcher, SEWWHATSTITCHER, no spaces. That is me. But I shared that I was making some pillows for my entryway bench. Kylie words. So these, I love when I go thrifting or I go to an antique store, I'm always looking for little scrap packs of fabric. And I had bought a scrap pack. Let me see if this one, did I keep it? Got a little tray here. I keep all my scraps in. So typically whenever I find them, and the camera's going to shake, I'm sorry, it just is what it is. So this was all folded up. It was a lot neater, and it was shoved in a bag. I think it was like $3. I paid for all the little scraps. But it was a lot of patriotic colors and themes, stuff like that. So there were these little pre-cut squares. There was a ton of them in there. And I thought, what can I do with them? So the first thing I did was started working on this 9-patch pillow. I have got a bunch of pillows that I just changed the covers for. So I did a 9-patch and it wasn't big enough, and I added this small border. It still wasn't big enough, so I had to go in and add even the bigger border around. So this is the big enough size for one of those pillows. I did make sure for my 9-patch, I did the fusible interfacing on the back and quilted. My grandmother told me, she and I used to make quilts together, and she would say, make sure you back stitch on your seams. And I was like, she don't know what she's talking about. And I did what I wanted to do. And a lot of my 9-patch quilts are coming apart in the seams. So I've really sewed the crud out of this. I stitched on either side of every single seam. So this will be ready to take some wear and tear. I do need to put the backing on it. I am going to put a decorative trim and put a zipper at the bottom, and then this will be ready to go on a pillow. So I was using up some of those squares that I had found in one of those packs. Another thing that was in those packs was Ignore this for a second. So there was all of these that had different stripes. So there was the little stripes, and then there was the big stripes, and then there was some like this. And I thought, I want to make a bunch of little rustic flags. So there was a strip, let me pull it out, like this. And what I did was I measured it this way, and so I just made it to where it was a square. I think it was like 3 inch, 2.5, 2 3/4, something like that. And then I just sewed it on the corner and made me these little tiny flags. I love them. They're not perfect. They're very rustic. I can't even decide if I want to put a back on it or not. So I thought about what could I do with these. I thought about making a garland with them, and then using some of my scraps. So I've got, this was a scrap that was in that pack. I mean, that's not really big enough to do much with. So I thought about if I cut it in small strips and I made a garland, this could hang off of the garland. And then there was a strip like this. There was strips like this that I could use. And then I had some of this left over from putting strips around my pillow. So I could put those and make it really cute garland. That's a possibility. I also thought about, I'm wanting to get me a basket that's on a tray. So like a freestanding multi-basket thing. I think they've got them at Hobby Lobby. But I thought about if I just kind of paper clipped it to a wire basket. Not paper clipped, what's the word? Binder clipped it to a wire basket, and it just kind of free hung on there with my decorative stuff. I have got a lot of the, what's the popular mugs? God, my words today. Rachel Ray, maybe? I don't know. I've got a bunch of those cups that have the predominant wording. Y'all are screaming it at me. That say boom, 4th of July, God bless America, stuff like that. So I want to put that out. I do have a good bit of patriotic stitching that I can put out for the holiday. But it hit me, Memorial Day is coming up really soon. And it will be here Monday. So I would like to get this stuff out so that I can have it out for Memorial Day and Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day, 4th of July. Bless my heart, y'all. That's a Southern thing. Oh my gosh. Then I also had a jelly roll that was a ton of patriotic fabrics, and I thought I want to have a small runner to go down my long table, so my table seats 8 people. And I do not like a full tablecloth because my sons are very messy, so I like it to where if they get stuff on a placemat, I can take it and wash it. So I took some of the strips from the jelly roll, and I'm just making a small, it's going to be quilted. I've only got one seam right here, but this whole thing will be quilted. I've already got the batting in the back, and then I'll put cute little decorative trim on it. So it will go down the center of the table. And then what I thought about doing is seeing if I could find some of the rustic stripes like this and something similar to this, and making placemats that's similar to this that can just free lay on the table, because they're going to get stuff all over it. They spill stuff. They're a bunch of savages when they eat. And then I could just throw it in the washing machine and wash it. So that is my thoughts. I also, Hands On Design did a cute little quick short video about taking some multicolored fabrics and just sewing some really quick pillows. And a lot of these small finishes that I've been working on, I want to get them finished so I can get them out. But in the meantime, I thought, what can I do to kind of fill my bowl? I've got a couple patriotic stitches. I'll have to go get them in a minute and show you what I do have. So I took some of those little charm squares that was already cut, and I made me some little pillows. So I went ahead and made 4. So these were like this. I wasn't going to use on anything. That was cute, so I did that. This was one side and that was one side, and then this was one side and this is the other side. So I made one pillow and I stuffed it, and then we were watching TV, and then I sewed the little trim on. This sewing the trim on thing is not for the faint of heart. So I made one that's done, and the other 3 have sit on my stitchy table, and I've got to stuff them, sew them shut, and then do the trim around them. So I've got to get this done because I want them out before Memorial Day on Monday. But I thought they were so cute, just little bitty cute pillows. So cute. All right, and then what else did I do for stitching? I made another project bag. So I'm gonna show you that really quick. This is, I'm sorry, the camera's shaking. So I was mentioning that I had always used these type bags, and they work great because I like for my bags to be waterproof, but it's hard for me to leave stuff on a Q-snap. The folders that I had been making are great, but they're not great for a Q-snap in my personal opinion. So I made a really big bag. This is a 15 by 15, I think it is. And it's got cute little chickens on the back. And the inside is this design. And I did the clear plastic front. And so I thought the chickens was a perfect for a Simple Life, and so I stuck my Teresa Kogut a Simple Life piece in there. And then I have cut out some other stuff to make some other bags, but I've been really focused on getting this patriotic stuff out, so that's what I did. So that's it. That's what I've done as far as just sewing wise. So let's get actually into what I have cross stitched, which is probably why you're here. Just 11 minutes in. That's not too bad. All right, so A Simple Life by Teresa Kogut, since I've got it out. This one, I've really enjoyed working on it this week with me working my new job. This is what I think of in the afternoon that I want to work on. I'm so grateful for my new job. I love it. So that's what the chart's going to look like. I am stitching it with the called for colors. And I spent some more time on that house. I had like from the bottom of the windows up, so I've got all of this stuff in, and I've been watching each night. We've been sitting down watching a movie as a family, so I've been kind of stitching on this while we're watching that video because it's straight stitching. But I had messed up a couple of the bricks, like I had forgot to put this whole window in and had to take some out to put the window in, but it's coming. And I got to looking, this fence is a pretty good piece. But then the rest of these are small motifs. So I think I'm going to finish the house, and I'm going to get just like the bottom of where the fence is going to be, and I'm going to leave that for stitching when I go to StitchCon. I want to get the outline of this water done and go ahead and get the ducks done, the fish, and then that will be tons of stitching for when I'm at StitchCon. And then try to do like a motif a day on it. And I think this one will go pretty quick. I was looking last night and I'm like, why are you making this so complicated, Kylie? It's not that bad. Just stitch it. So if you're wondering, I am stitching mine on 28 count Water Lily by Joblin, and it is an even weave. So there's that one. I'm trying not to make you shake too much. Sorry if you do. All right, then I worked on Old Glory. This is a bonus chart. I'm gonna cover this up, do it like this so I don't show the chart to you. This is a bonus chart in the 4th of July rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And so my kids are doing their intergrade testing this week. This is one that I have been working on sitting at the table. I think, again, I've got to do all of the white stitching in between the red. That would be good to do at StitchCon. And then I'm going to do the outline of this blue and then go ahead and stitch the white star. And then all of that blue would be good to stitch while I'm at StitchCon too. So I'm trying to think in advance, because everybody talks about when you want to be talking and up and down and people coming and chatting, you want to be stitching on something that's, you know, easy for you to pick up and put down. The next one is Crab Dance by Tiny Modernist. This one's fun. It's cute. This one has called to me several days this week. I'm stitching mine on 32 count Country Atlantic Lugana by Zweigard. And Zweigard, well, however you want to say it. And these little guys cute too, so I'm kind of been working a good bit. I only had like 2 of these legs in this green in the border, so I've got a good ways on him this week. Rode with the hubby to do some errands, and so I stitched on him. Hubby ran in the store and I sit in the car and stitched. they don't know. I didn't want to go in no parts support. I didn't want to go in no parts. Wasn't feeling it. Okay, here's what I'm really excited about. So this is the Star Spangled Ornaments by It's So Emma. And my goal was to get all of these done and on my tree. Not going to happen. I started fervently stitching, and I'll show you what I got done in a minute. But I thought, why am I rushing at this? Why is this like, I have to have this done today, tomorrow? Like, it can take a couple of years to get these done. So I was, let's see, I had this one done. I've already showed that one to you. So I ended up finishing the kite. So there's this one I finished before. And then I told you last time I showed you the kite, and I just had to do these the gold stars there. And then I started and completely finished the little cupcake. And then the one that's the calendar that says 4th of July. So I've got a total of 4 of them done. And I went through and looked. There is some that I don't like that I'm not going to stitch. And so I pre-cut. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 more. 8. I'm not doing all 12 of them. I don't know. I've got the fabric pre-cut. But I got those done. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and finish those on the tart pans. Make sure that I've got enough coordinating fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and put that coordinating fabric on in here so that as I stitch them, like maybe next year if I get the rest of them done, I can make sure that I finish them the same as the ones I'm going to go ahead and do this year. So I stitched on those a good bit. All right, the next one is my thread a day piece. I did good, and then I didn't do good, and whatever. It is what it is. I have got a good ways on it, so that's the main thing. I have got a little board up somewhere that I can hold this up for you and show you, but that would make too much sense for me to have it out, right? So this is Hello Spring. So I got a really good ways on this one. I'm close to a finish on it. I just need to get my bee in a bonnet and get it done. So cute. This was a freebie from Primrose Cottage. If you're on their email list, it looks like this. So stitching it up. Hopefully I will have it done this week. I am stitching mine on Arctic Sea 28 count linen. And I don't know who that's by. It was a pack. Alrighty, let's see if I stitched on this. What is this? Yes, I did stitch on this. This is With Jesus, I'm a Happy Camper. And I lied to y'all. I am so sorry. I did not intend to. I got to thinking about it. I was like, this seems like a newer design to be 18 years old. So I looked at the back, and the copyright is 2015. So it's not 18 years old. And so I was like, why in the world did I think that I was stitching on this 18 years ago? And I got back to looking through all my old stash, and I have got embroidery that I started doing that's campers. So it was not intentional, me telling you guys that. So I've had this one since 2015. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's a cute chart. Sorry for the glare. I had started it one time on the white Ada that came in the kit, did not like it. So I dyed some fabric myself, and so that's what I'm stitching it on. And so I did get a little bit more done on it. Can you tell with the wrinkles? There you go. So worked down around the tire is what I worked on this week. So this is another one, like all of this in here is fill-in work. The very top of the camper, let me show you. Like, see, all of this up here, if I get the outline done, that would all be fill-in with, you know, pretty much one color. This door would be a good fill-in. So I'm working in advance with this one to take it to StitchCon as well, to try to get it stitched up. Okay. I'm looking, bear with me. That is all I stitched on this week. I didn't stitch on anything else. Let me look at my notes and be sure. Okay. So I did watch some new Flosstubes this week that I wanted to shout out that I enjoyed watching. Oh, I got one more to show you. So this is Summer Quaker by Primrose Cottage. I forgot. I had started this one on an airplane on my trip to Tampa, Florida whenever I was in financial services. And I had forgot about it. And I found it the other day. It was in my bag, my briefcase bag that I took with me on the plane. So the only thing that I had done on it is I had the top, the side, and one of these. Like nothing was filled in. So we were watching The Addams Family the other night. Go figure. And so I sat down and started working on it. Well, the only problem is I miscounted here. So all of this is wrong. And I'm going to have to go back and cut it out. And I thought about just fudging it. But it's not going to be centered this way if I don't take this back out and move it. So it's going to have to come out. And I thought about doing this one all one color. I'm not enjoying that. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it finished being all one color. So I got online and looked, and there is a color version. So I think I'm just going to pull that part out. I'm going to leave the border that I've already got stitched in yellow. And then whatever colors it calls for in the conversion will be what I stitch that. So I forgot I stitched on that one too. All right, sorry, squirrely moment. Back to Flosstubes. So I watched Brianna Lentz, Lentz is her last name. And she said something I thought was really funny. She says, I've always been New Start Brianna. She says, but this year I want to be Completion Brianna. And I was like, I feel you, girl. This year I want to be Completion Kylie. So I want to get some of this stuff done. So I thought that was funny. I did see she had done the eggs. I'm doing the Beach by Cricket collection. And she had done the eggs one. And I thought that was cute. That one would be pretty quick to stitch. So I've got it on my little list of stuff to get. I did also watch several other ones. I didn't write down who I watched. I'll go back and look. I think one of them was the Tattooed Stitcher. But there's so many people stitching this one by Plum Street Samplers, Henpeck, and I did order it offline. I looked at a couple of needlework stores nearby where I usually shop. None of them had this in stock. It was out of stock. So I did order it offline and it came this week. So I'm going to start this one today, and I'm going to see if I can get this one done over the weekend. It don't look like it would be too complicated. It looks really cute. So I got that one. And then I did order a couple of really small charts off of Etsy. I've not printed them off yet to be able to show them to you, so I'll show that to you on my next Flosstube. But that's what I'm working on. I also, tidbit, since you stayed to the end, I'm going to give you a juicy little tip you may not have known. For years and years, I carried this subscription to the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I loved it, but I was just accumulating a bunch of magazines, and then I was buying so many patterns, I was like, I don't need to keep getting this magazine. So if something come out in the magazine that I knew I wanted to stitch, I would just go buy the individual magazine. So I was looking through, somebody did a flip through of the summer or the spring or summer or whatever it is, Just Cross Stitch magazine, and there was several patterns in there I knew that I was going to want to stitch. So I got online and was looking where I could find it near me because my local Joann's have closed. I was trying to figure out where I could buy it. And I thought, well, let me see if Amazon has got it where I can get it. So I searched Amazon, and I've got Kindle Unlimited Plus. And I do have a Kindle that is black and white, but I also have Kindle on my phone, my Apple phone, and it's in color. So when I clicked it, it come up and it said Just Cross Stitch magazine is free with your Kindle Unlimited subscription. So I clicked it. I thought that's too good to be true. I clicked it, and sure as stinking enough, you can see every single page of the Just Cross Stitch magazine. So I printed off the pages of the projects that I knew I wanted to stitch, and there is some really cute projects in there. There is two like that I want to start and do ASAP. Really cute. I should have printed them off too, but I didn't. Anyway, I was so pleased. So if you didn't know that and you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, you can access the Just Cross Stitch magazine. Just go to your Amazon account, search for Just Cross Stitch. I think I searched Just Cross Stitch Spring 2025, and it popped it right up and it said $0, free with your unlimited Kindle. I clicked it and then it let me see and print off the pages. So I was so excited. Did y'all know that? I accidentally found that. There you go. There's your tidbit for staying to the end. As far as plans go, going to continue to work on what I'm working on. Life is still amazing. Training is amazing. The job is so much, I mean, it's an involved job. I mean, I'm working with patients, making sure their medications get filled and shipped and all of that stuff. And it's not like I'm gonna call I'm gonna call a prescription and go pick it up in an hour at my pharmacy. This is a specialty pharmacy. So, it takes getting prior authorizations from insurance companies, doctors, getting all of that stuff together. And it can take 2 to 4 weeks for that process. Making sure that not only do they get their medication, but they get all the supplies that they need to administer it. So the job it's involved. Like, there's a lot of steps. You got to be sure that it's, of course, done right. There's a lot of, the training is amazing. My manager's great. There is so many checks and balances in place to ensure you do not make a mistake, and it's right up my alley. I love it. I love it. I told her, I said, y'all just need to go do trainings for all these companies that suck at training, because it is so good. So she told me today that I was doing great at it, already going to be looking at giving me over patients of my own to be able to start working with. And so she said within a matter of time, I would have at least 100 patients. And so every single month they get their medications for infusion. So that will be keeping me very busy, but I love it, love it, love it, love it. So we've been kind of starting later in the day, which is great because I'm got fibromyalgia and I can sleep late and feel good getting up, go get a slow start, come in and get my work done. And then when I'm done, I clock out and then I'm physically standing in my office / sewing room. So I can sew second I clock out from work. It has been amazing, amazing. And then I've been stitching in the afternoon, watching TV, or whatever, but it's been great. So doing the boys integrate testing this week. Justin's graduating Saturday. And then all that I've got planned is hopefully my aunt's coming to town soon. We'll be able to do some stitching and go do some stitchy shopping and with her and my mom. And then going on a weekend trip to the Whitewater Center with my son and the whole family, like my husband and 3 kids. And then going to StitchCon in June. So got a lot of plans for this summer I'm really looking forward to. As far as stitching plans, I've really been making some good strides on these projects that I've got here. I'm going to try to get Crab Dance finished. I'm going to try to get that Hello Spring finished. I think I'm going to be done with the It's So Emma ornaments for this year. I'm going to try to get them fully finished. I'm going to get this runner finished and on my table. I want to get this pillow finished. Get all of my Memorial Day stuff up for this weekend. Leave it out through the 4th of July. Keep stitching on my Lady of the Flag and my Simple Life. And then I want to try to get several pieces ready to go for StitchCon and finish up some stuff. I found that piece that I told you a couple videos ago that I'd stitched for the inauguration. There ain't no doubt I love this land. There's supposed to be a flag right here and then something at the bottom. I can't find my pattern to finish this piece, but it's almost done. So I'm wanting to get that done and get this one stitched and made into a pillow and out this week. Yeah, that's my thoughts. And then hopefully I'm gonna try to stitch this one this weekend. Think I can do it? I don't think that looks like too many stitches. I think I can do it. I think it's so stinking cute. But anyway, there you have it. That's my plans. There's my stitching. That's my sewing. And I'm here for 3 weeks in a row. I know y'all are so proud of me. All right, my friends, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope everybody is safe. If you're watching this and you've been in the path of those storms that come through Kentucky this last week, you guys are in my thoughts and in my prayers. I hope that you're doing well. If you're in that part of the world, let me know how you're doing. If your family was okay, your town, your city. I know personally, after we went through what we went through here with Hurricane Helene in my hometown where I was born and raised, it really affected me. And until you go through something like that, I don't think people understand. So my own home was not affected, but my hometown was completely destroyed. So I feel you. My heart goes out to you guys. I'm thinking about you and praying for you. I think that's it. I'm just rambling at this point. So I will see you guys next week. I do not know if it'll be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but I will see you at some point. And hopefully I will have some finishes done. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Spend time with those that you love. And I will see you next time.